Evening, YouTube. Today we are working on a 1984 XL350R, a Honda XL350R. It's an oldie but a goodie. And what we're doing here, I'm doing the, it was leaking from the stator case, so I cleaned up the case. I cleaned up the cover. It was really all gummed up, and I had to really take a hard time with a chisel and with with steel wool and really clean it up. But that's not what I'm going to do this video about. What we're doing is we're doing the front brake master cylinder. We took the front brake master cylinder off. The window was broken, and the actual drive on the master cylinder, the drive was all worn out. The gaskets were worn out. The spring was worn out, and the grommet. This is the old grommet. You can see it's completely corroded. And this is one of the old what do you call it? Bushings or gaskets, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go through this real quick and show you what to do. First thing you need to do, so it's mounted up with this bracket. There's a bracket that goes on the other side, and this sits basically like this on the handlebar on the right side, and then you have your lever which is right here, goes in. Let me show you. Right, goes in right here. So it's sitting like this on your handlebar, with the lever coming out over here. Okay, this is for a rear view mirror mount. All right, first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the cap off, which is right here. It's the top, and these are the screws. You need a Phillips head to do that. Make sure this one was completely dry, because it broke. This broke, and the seal broke here, and it just leaked out all over. You can see down here, it just leaked out all over the place. And you can see on the side of the tank, you see right there, it leaked. It was sitting like that, and the brake fluid eats paint, so it leaked down the side like that. All right, so okay, first thing, you take it off. Then the next thing, you get the cover off, like I said, you take it off. You're gonna have to get this thing out, which is this plunger right here, and it sits in like this. Okay, I'm not gonna put it in yet, but that's how it sits. You're gonna have to rip this off to get to it, which is this. This is the old one. You can see it's all chewed up. And so you pull that out. Then there's a C-clip that sits down inside. I don't know if you can see the lip. Yeah, it's very corroded down in there. Tried to clean it up, but you can't get down in there with a wire brush or anything. You're gonna have to get that out. There's no way to get, you can't get your C-clip pliers in there. There's no way, it's just too small. What you gotta do is you get a pick, and you're gonna get into one of these holes, and then you're gonna try and pop it. Well, now it wants to stick on there. Okay, you're gonna wanna pop it, like pull it into the center, and then pop it out of the groove. Then you wanna get under it and just wedge the whole thing out and then pop it out. And then you have to get this out. And what I had to do was I had to get underneath this lip here, because it's sitting in there, and this thing was in pretty tight. It's from 1984, so it's never been done. It's never been taken apart. You have to get your pick under there. It sits about here, and just wedge it up and wedge it up and wedge it up, and then get a pair of pliers and pull it out. Okay? The other thing you're gonna have to do, so you need one of these. You need, let's see, 8 millimeter, I believe. Let's see if you can see that. 8 millimeter to get off the bolts holding the bracket onto the bike. And you're gonna need a 8 millimeter hex. You need to open this up. I've already done it. You can see I seal it back up with Teflon tape. You need to open this up and you need to clean out. This is basically the valve inside here. So that's down, this was full of gunk inside. I don't know if we can get in there and get some light down in there. Okay, you can see it's nice and clean. Here's the other side of the valve. Okay, this is where the your hose is going to be, your brake line, going down to the caliper. So it goes in over here. So basically, your plunger is forcing fluid down through here into there, building up pressure, and that's causing the caliper to squeeze and lock the brakes up. To fix the broken window, this is JB Weld. I put a piece of tape on the inside here so it didn't leak out. And then I just mixed up some JB Weld. I put it on there and let it sit for a day. I think that's the only thing that's gonna keep a good seal. I don't know, you could try silicone, you can try other things, but JB Weld is a no-brainer. So I filled that up. He won't have a sight glass, but it won't leak also. So next thing I'm gonna do, this is okay. This piece of plastic, or rubber rather, is still okay, which is good. But that was shot. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the plunger back in there. I'm gonna put this unit back in there. I'll go over that real quick. So here's the spring. This is the spring that goes on here. That goes in, it goes in this way. You have to put these two, the kit, oh yes, the kit to get is all balls, 181004. 181004, and this is a master cylinder front brake rebuild kit, and it's got all the parts that you need in it. It's got a new C-clip. It's got, we're gonna upgrade from, the brake line had a aluminum washer. We're gonna upgrade to a copper washer. It has new screws for the top. These are the old ones. You can see they're corroded. New boot. It has a new C-clip. Here's the new boot. Here's the new C-clip. New spring, new gaskets or bushings. And here's the old spring, and here's the old boot, and one of the old gaskets. So I'm gonna put it together, and we're gonna see how that goes. I'm gonna put it in, put the C-clip on it, put the C-clip on it, and put this in, C-clip on it, and then try to get this on. I'll come back and tell you how that works. Okay, so we got it mounted in there. A little word of advice, and it works. You see, it goes up and down. Put a little machine oil, all-purpose lubricating oil, zoom spout. Put a little bit on both gasket, otherwise they're gonna bind up. And put it in there and then run it down the tube all the way, and then take it out and then lube it up one more time. That's what I did, because it got jammed up. It wouldn't come up, it wouldn't go up or down the first time I put it in. But once the tube was lubed up, and the gaskets were lubed up, it went in, and now it works, as you can see, fine. Put down your C-clip, catch one corner down in there, and then just use a thin flathead to just kind of go around it and wedge it down in there. I mean, it's a really tight space to work in. Same thing goes for this dust cover, rubber dust cover. You're gonna have to use your edge, go around it and push it down in there. And then fit the lip, same thing for the lip here, where this hooks onto there. Fit it around there, okay? I don't know if you can see it going back and forth inside. Just barely. So anyhow, so it is fixed now. You can hear it pumping. And I can feel it. I can feel it on this end sucking on my, it's pulling my finger, the skin on my finger in. So, all right, so we're all clean. Like I said, this was filthy inside here. We're all cleaned up. That's rebuilt. All I have to do now is put the handle back on, mount it back up, screw the brake line back in, and then fill it up with fluid. So that's it. Any questions? Oh, and this is your, right here, this is your brake light. It's got 2 leads. Once the circuit is closed, turns the brake light on. And when you take your hand off the plunger, then the brake light goes off. It opens the circuit. So make sure you have those wires in the right direction. So, like I said, take this out, clean it up. That gives you access to the whole port. And then I use Teflon tape to make sure this has a good seal. And then clean this out in here. I clean that out with brake cleaner. Clean out in here too. I clean that out with brake cleaner. Put it all back together again. And I'll do one last part of the video with it all mounted up. Okay, so we have it mounted. I had to go back from the copper washer to the aluminum washer because it was leaking. But here we are. We're, like I said, there's no sight glass. You can see the sight glass is filled. But if we spin the wheel, brake works now. So that's it, fully mounted again. Gotta put this dust cover back on. Got the mirror back on it. And that's it. So that's how to rebuild your front master cylinder. Make sure you bleed this really good because there's going to be old fluid in there if you have a bike this old. Bleed it all the way out. Have all fresh fluid in there. It's not like there's a lot to do anyhow. There's maybe, I don't know, 3-4 ounces in the whole system. Maybe 5 at the most. All right, Mike Machines out.